I think one of our favorite things in marketing is to put a strategy in place for the month. And once you have certain ideas or themes, it becomes a lot easier to create those ideas. And then as much as you can batch in advance and then get those scheduled, it makes life a lot easier. You're not having to constantly be like switching gears and thinking, okay, let me put my marketing hat on and let me do this. And so I think that's one of our favorite ways to automate in that space.
Mm-hmm. Hey, welcome to this episode of the Master Delegator Podcast. In today's episode, I got a chance to talk to Ashley and Katie. They are co-owners of Cabot Main, where they help women coaches, consultants, and service providers close more sales in less time through customized workflow automations built in one day. They are moms and former corporate operation pros with over a decade each of experience managing projects and teams for a billion-dollar company. After burning out in the corporate world and then almost doing it again as entrepreneurs, they applied their corporate knowledge to automate systems that transformed their business and saved them dozens of hours every month. They now do the same for others and like to help women business owners have it all without doing it all. And guess what? In this episode, we talk about automation and, of course, delegation. So keep tuning in because you are gonna learn a lot of value from Ashley and Katie. Hello, Katie and Ashley. Welcome to the Master Delegator Podcast. Thank you for showing up today. You know, I know you guys just ended your 3-day online challenge. And I know that you guys are like, busy, but I guess you're not really busy because you automate things. So that's
our motto is to not be busy. So that's our goal.
Yeah, so much free time.
I mean, me too. I mean, I should be a master delegator because I am a master delegator because I have this podcast, but sometimes I still get busy. Maybe I'm not automating enough.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We need to talk about that.
Maybe I also need to be a master automator. Oh, did I just give you an idea to like go and do a podcast? And
I think so.
Master automator. But anyway, I'm glad that you guys are here. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So
thank you.
I'm actually interested to learn more about your story. I mean, I know I said, before recording that I'm going to have you guys just tell us about, automation, but, it's not very usual or common for a business to have 2 owners. So, tell us about your story and what is your role and responsibility for in the business?
Yeah. So Katie and I actually started working in the corporate world, and we worked there for 10 plus years, and we worked in operations and systems, and we managed tech projects to manage teams and all of that. And ultimately we burned out, and we decided we wanted to try to do something on our own. We thought, hey, we'll have more control over that. So we started our own businesses, but then we almost burnt out again. And that was kind of the turning point for us, where we realized we need to go back to our operations roots. Like, that's where we came from. And we took the time to pause and really put up the right systems and the right automations in our business. And that's when we really got excited about the automation. But Katie and I had started businesses and came together. We just worked so well together, and we love collaborating with each other. And that's kind of how we were born.
That is really awesome. So how long have you been, friends or business friends, partners?
Yeah. So we met, oh my gosh, right out of college, I guess. So I don't know how long that's been. I don't want to date us, but it's been a while. But we did work together for 10 years. Then we spent some time kind of doing, our own businesses, like Ashley said. And then we joined together. I guess it's been 2 years now that we've been in business together. And I know it's not, you don't see that a lot, but I think for us, it was about, just coming together and making something bigger than what we were each doing on our own. And there was such an opportunity, we felt like, in the market for what we wanted to bring. but also we just really like working together. I think we had
That's
such an
awesome.
experience doing that, and we knew that we would be a great fit. And so I think we took the leap, but it's turned out really well because we do work so well together, and we are friends too, so that helps too.
I love that. I mean, it's not very common to find a business partner that is also your friend, right? I mean, I think that's awesome, but I think there are a lot of risks in there as well. So, but
I think it helped. We started working together. We started as, coworkers and then became friends after.
yeah, so you kind of know how each other works. Like, hey, Katie, you do this, you do that, and I do this. But yeah,
Right.
and you quickly grew into a 6-figure business. Tell me about that. Is it because of your partnership? Is it because there's two brains working together? Tell me your secret.
I mean, I guess it is a little bit of both. I mean, I think we had a little synergy going right when we got together. We had each already started to grow our own individual brands, and we had gotten some of that name recognition. And so when we came together and put together this new offer and this new business, I think it did generate some buzz, if you will, with people that we already knew, and a lot of people who knew us, together jointly. And so I think we hit the ground running with our marketing and all that. But then, like Ashley said, once we really grew so fast that we took that second to put together our systems and our automation, we really were able to more explode, if you will, after that, because we got so much under our control that it allowed us to spend the time where we needed to spend it instead of doing the things that take all your time as a business owner, right?
That's really awesome. Yeah. So let's talk automation. There's just a lot of ways to automate things, right? And there are a lot of tools that you can use to automate your tasks. So how do you guys personally in your business automate?
So I think one thing we do is we're constantly thinking about it. And the keys we really look at are...
Hold a second. I love that you said you're constantly thinking about it. It's kind of like your first love or something.
Yes.
It's like your crush, you think about it all the time. Just kidding, but
we're
go
in the
ahead.
shower, we're eating dinner, it's always on the brain. We can't help it. We love it.
How can I automate the shower?
How do we make life easier?
Yeah.
But we really look at like tasks that repeat over and over and things that are kind of similar. Those are the criteria that really screams, okay, this can be automated. And so we look for things like that in our business. And we just kind of have that mindset of, how could we make this a little bit easier for ourselves? How could we make this quicker? And sometimes we use specific tools like Zapier where it integrates different systems, but sometimes it's really simple within a tool. So for example, invoicing in QuickBooks, we set up our invoices to automatically generate and send out to a client. We have automatic reminders. So it can be something really simple like that actually cuts out a lot of time in your day.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And so you said that you think about the tasks that are repetitive, and one of them is, sending invoices to your clients. I mean, what else can you automate in a business?
Yeah. So in our challenge that we actually just completed, we actually had put together a list of 40 automations because we went through our own business, because it's like Ashley said, like we really do think about this all the time. And she joked about the shower, but like I have so many thoughts that I'll message her after and be like, yeah, I thought about this in the shower again. But we did put together the list of all the things, for the most part, that we've put into our business over the last few years. And so it's everything. One of the biggest areas we'd love to automate is the sales process, because there's so much manual work in there, right? You're sending out your contracts, you're sending out your proposals, you're sending out your emails, you're getting your signatures, you're having your sales call. Like that whole process, we estimated takes a lot of business owners somewhere between 10 and 20 hours of their month, right? Maybe more, maybe a little bit less. So if you take that and you automate it down to where everything is just going automatically, you need to have that, face-to-face call a lot of the time still, but you're taking a process down from 10 to 20 hours a month to 30 minutes or a couple hours. And the amount of time, and time is money, right? So the amount of time and money that you're saving is massive. And so for the clients that we work with, we like to a lot of the time start there because it is such a bulky chunk of time and effort that they're spending. And we love to just knock that out, say, let's take care of that and get that out of your, to-do list, because it does take so much time and energy from people.
Yeah, that's true. And I love, automating sales processes. I personally use Dubsado for client management, and I know you guys use Dubsado as well. But how about in terms of marketing? Is there anything that we can automate in marketing?
So much.
Yeah. A lot in marketing. I think one of our favorite things in marketing is to put a strategy in place for the month. And once you have certain ideas or themes, it becomes a lot easier to create those ideas. And then as much as you can batch in advance and then get those scheduled, it makes life a lot easier. You're not having to constantly be like switching gears and thinking, okay, let me put my marketing hat on and let me do this. And so I think that's one of our favorite ways to automate in that space.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. How about in terms of like, let's just say podcast editing and promoting a podcast? Like, how can we like automate that?
I mean, I think, we talk about automation a lot, but systems is really what comes behind that, right? And by systems, we don't mean like software necessarily, but it's the process by which you do things. So I think for a podcast, for example, having a process in place that is repeatable, right? So you're not reinventing the wheel every time. You've got maybe your templates that are already created in Canva or whatever tool you use. So you're just placing things in and you're just kind of filling that bucket, but that bucket is already there. You just need to put the pieces in place. And so you have that shell. So you're repeating that every time. Same with your process. You've got your calendaring, right? That you are automatically sending out. You've got your questions that you're automatically sending out when you're booking new people. So it's different chunks of it that you're able to really just have that process in place and then just repeat it over and over. And, the first time you might put in a little bit more upfront work, but then you just start to see how each time you're able to start saving a little more time here, a little more time there. And then really over time, it adds up and you end up saving hours and hours of your time because you've used it so many times at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And, sadly, there's just a lot of businesses out there who do not have systems and processes in place. And if you don't have everything documented, if you have to keep on teaching somebody to do the same thing over and over again, that's a waste of a lot of time. And so I know you guys are like, this podcast show is not sponsored by Dubsado, but I know that one of your favorite tools is Dubsado.
Yes.
So tell us about why you love Dubsado and what kind of automation features does it have?
Yeah, so Dubsado is one of our favorites because we find that it has some of the most functionality and ability to actually automate your workflows compared to some competitors. And just as an example for our challenge that we just did, we were able to have people sign up on a website, and then that form automatically leads them in to Dubsado where they stay, and they automatically get an email directly from that. And once they get the email, they have a sequence of other emails, options to upgrade, invoices that can go out. So it's kind of this whole flow or sequence that happens that's triggered by one event, triggers another. So really, that can happen while we sleep. Someone can sign up on our website and the whole thing can happen without our intervention. So a lot of it for us is the automation between the workflows and ability to integrate with other systems as well.
That's true, actually. Like I said, I'm also using Dubsado, and I just like how you can automate your invoices and you can automate your proposals and contracts and email follow-ups. It's just I think right now in my business we can't live without Dubsado anymore because we're just so used to automating things. But of course, there are other things that we cannot automate. Can you share with us what those things are that you wish we can automate?
Oh my gosh. Well, you know that we are like massive nerds when it comes to automation. So we wish we could automate everything, right? But we have, and we've talked to you about this before, right? It's our approach to business really when it comes to automation is first we eliminate. We ask ourselves, is this a task that needs to be done? Second is then we look to automate, right? Like we've just talked about, can it be put on, a trigger and automatically happen? And then the third one is delegate. So if it's something that it needs that human touch, it needs that human brain, that's where, either Ashley and myself can use our brains to do that, or that's where we do look to hire people who have that specialized knowledge. So a great example of that would be like branding. When it came time to create our logo, like that's not our area of expertise. So we want to hire someone who who has that creativity, who has that brain power to use it so that they can, add into our business with their own skill set, especially in areas maybe where we lack. And, that's something that we aren't going to automate. It needs that human touch. It needs that creativity.
Yeah, I love that. And, eliminating automation or eliminating, automating, delegating. Yeah, those are my three favorite, words when it comes to business. Because I feel like if you are a self-aware business owner, you should be from time to time assessing all the tasks or all the things that you are doing in your business, because maybe there are other things that your team is doing or you are doing that can be eliminated. Those, and the things that can be eliminated are the tasks that, correct me if I'm wrong, okay, the tasks that are not needed anymore, the tasks that are not bringing income to your business, the tasks that are just not bringing results to your business. And that's why I think for me, as a leader of my business, I make it a habit to always assess the things that I'm doing at least on a quarterly basis or maybe every 6 months. Because if you're doing the things that are not really important to your business and not bringing results to your business, then what's the point of doing those things, right?
Are you sick and tired of being overwhelmed and afraid you'll never scale your business? Meet Smart VAs. Unlike many virtual assistant agencies that only assign one dedicated virtual assistant, we provide flexibility for growing businesses by assigning a team of experienced virtual assistants that can do different tasks to support your continuous growth. Visit smartvas.online to book a free discovery call and start growing your business.
Let's talk about leveling up, a business using simple technology solutions. And I know that you guys are like expert in that area. So what are the simple technology solutions that you use or that you recommend your clients to have?
Yeah, so I think we already talked about Dubsado. That's a big one because it can function as a client relationship management system, but really hold your kind of end-to-end process with your client. Another one of our favorites is ClickUp, and both of these come with free versions to start. So it's great. You can kind of dabble in them before committing to them and kind of start small and build up from there. But ClickUp's great because we use it for workload management, but there's a lot of automation in there too, to help you keep track of recurring tasks. If we have teammates, we assign them tasks in there. And then we also use it for kind of lead gen. So if we track our overall sales process, there's great ways to do that in there. So if I had to say two systems, those are probably our two favorite, but we utilize a lot of other ones too, like Zapier and just Google Drive and all of that.
That is awesome. I want to talk about you guys' challenges when you are starting out your business.
Yeah, I think Ashley talked about it a little bit, but we came from the corporate world, right? And it's very high stress at times and it can be overwhelming, and we burnt out. And so when we started our business, we said we're not going to do that anymore. We're not going to let that happen. So we dive on in, and like we said, we started to grow, and guess what? it happened again. We did get into burning out because we were working too much. We were overwhelmed because we were working too much. We didn't have time to pause and reflect, or we didn't choose to pause and reflect, right? So at first, we really did get this close to burning out again, because I think, a lot of business owners have this idea of that working 24/7, and we need to spend all our time and all our energy in our business, and we have to get it just right. Well, guess what? That's a recipe for disaster. We know, because we did it. And we took on this massive, massive project, this new client, pretty close to when we first joined together. And we also had grown, and we had our other clients. And so we were on this massive path to burnout, and we were so close to tipping over that edge. And we had to kind of look at each other and pause and make the choice to reflect on, what are we doing wrong, and what can we start to do right? And so that's where we really did start to systemize our business a lot, and eliminate also the things that we didn't need to do anymore, get those systems in place in our business, and then also learn to say no to the things that didn't serve us. So both in our business, in our personal lives, kind of everywhere, just that idea of, we only have limited time and energy. What can we say no to? Because it's just taking a toll on us, and it's not adding value to us or to anybody at that point, because we don't have the energy to give to it. So I think for us, that was one of our biggest lessons, is what can we do to make sure that doesn't happen in the future again? And of course, we're going to get busy and all those things, but we want to make sure that we don't hit that path to burnout. And if we do, then we recalibrate. We stop it in our tracks, recalibrate, and say, okay, what can we do different? Because that's not working. And so when we did that, I think it completely transformed our business, but I would say our personal lives too, because we made so many shifts and so many changes in that period of time to really set us on a better path to not overwhelm.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. I also, at the beginning of my business, I also had a hard time saying no to a lot of things, because I don't want people to feel like I'm rejecting them. And I feel like if I have a lot of things to do, if I'm hustling, then I am an entrepreneur. I don't know why, but there's just something about hustling. I think 3 or 4 years ago, that if you are doing a lot of things, then that means, you're worth it. You're very valuable because you're busy. You're skilled to do a lot of different things. But that is actually not a good thing, to do, because you are neglecting a lot of areas in your personal life, especially when it comes to spending quality time with your friends and family, because sometimes, when you work too much, you don't have the energy to even talk to anybody else around you, right? And so I think it is important that we only say yes to those that serves us, and it's not even selfish to do that. It protects you and the other people, or the other person, from not getting the quality of work that they need from you. Yeah. So any advice on how we can easily automate processes that are very common in a business?
Yeah, so I think one piece of advice I have is just start small. So if this is something you're trying to take on yourself, review your business, maybe write down some of your pain points. What are the areas that you either struggle with or you don't enjoy as much? And also, what are the things that are repeatable? And look at that list and see what's one little thing I could dive into and start automating. Because once you automate that one little thing, maybe it only saves you an hour a month. That's an extra hour you have now. And then you can kind of build on that. So that would be my best tip for just kind of where do you start? I know it can be overwhelming.
I love that. And you know what? Some business owners, they don't like delegating because they don't want to lose control. And I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong again, I feel like most business owners don't automate because they don't want to learn technology. They're like, I'm just a business owner. I want to plan out. I'm the visionary, in my business, but technology, Zapier, MailChimp, what are those things, And do you find that true? They don't automate because they don't want to learn something new?
Absolutely. But I think like my advice there and we talked about this in our group earlier today is you do not have to be a techie person to do this. So a lot of these automations can be so simple. Like if you can set up your email, you can set up, some basic email kind of automations. And so I think that's a little bit of a myth that we like to bust is Ashley and I, we set up automations and systems, but guess what? We don't do coding. We are not like these IT people. And we love to share that because we want people to know, like, you don't have to be that to get these things up in order. Any business owner can start simple, like Ashley said, and do these small things. And now there may come a point in time where you do need to ask for help. You do need to delegate that or whatever it is. But start small and take the first step because you don't have to know it all. You don't have to know all the IT stuff to start getting some time back in your business.
Yeah, I totally agree. And sometimes you just really need, people to tell you that, hey, you don't really need to be, tech savvy, because Dubsado is not going to eat you alive. It's very user friendly, It's, when you sign up and you log in, it's just everything. I mean, at least for me, it's just, the dashboard is friendly, straightforward. And so it's not very intimidating, really. I have used a lot of softwares or tools that are expensive and very intimidating. But I can say for Dubsado, I can attest that it's not really intimidating. But all right, so where can people find you online? And I'll give you guys some time to kind of like, share with my audience what you can do for them.
Sure. So we are on Instagram at Cabot Main, and we also have a Facebook group community as well, where we're all about automation, but also just how to scale, how to live life have it all without doing it all. And I think you have a similar mantra as us, right? With delegation and asking for help and all of that. So our Facebook group community is, hopefully we can link that as well.
Yeah. Sure. How about you, Katie? Anything you want to add?
Yeah. I know you had asked too how we can serve people. And so like we've talked about, we do offer systems and automation builds. So right now, our latest offer is a VIP day where we help businesses to set up their sales system basically in one day. So we do have a free business audit that we offer to sit down with us and see if this is something that your business really needs, which I think every business really needs, to really just help to create those automated workflows and set up your business so that you can work through that 10 to 20 hour, sales process and move it down to a 30-minute one.
That is awesome. Well, I will put in all your links in the show notes. What am I going to say? I'm going to put in all the links in the show notes, and thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. And I learned a lot about automation. Thank you.
Thank you
so much for having us.
Yes.
You're welcome.